today is February 27th. Can't even think of the month. And we are starting to review for our 9 weeks test. The 9 weeks test is next Wednesday, which I realize is a little ways away. But there's so much on this test. Basically, the way we set this up is we'll do like between the review today and the review tomorrow, it is all the topics. And then we will review again Monday, Tuesday, and between those 2 days, it's all the topics. So it's a lot to go back and remember. The one good thing I feel, and I've said this in every class, is that I feel like most of you kind of do a little better on the 9 weeks test because you have A, B, C, or D answer choices. So usually, I think most of you, if you get something wrong and you can't find that answer, most of the time you go back and try to figure it out the right way. So, okay, so starting out, area. How much is basically inside something? We talked about like the floor tile. We talked about the ceiling tiles. Basically, this is, yes, a parallelogram. We just talked about that. Now, we got to remember the formula. A equals B times H. That's right. Write the formula first. Step 2, fill it in. My base is 4. My height is 10. Given me 40, an area is squared, and we need the measurement of feet. Please make sure you're being super picky about all those little pieces and parts. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with number 2 because it's another parallelogram. Okay.
What happens if you just went ahead and straight did 4 times 10?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, like if you just did them different order or something. That's fine.
I mean, I just went ahead and did straight 4 times 10 without the A and everything.
Oh, no, keep writing the formulas. Keep writing the formulas. Okay, going to number 3. Bless you, bless you. Okay, it is a triangle, which had a different formula. A equals BH divided by 2, or B times H divided by 2. Okay, now this one, the base is 18 3/4. The height is 9 1/2. So I'm going to pull out the handy dandy calculator and use the ABC button. Now, the beginnings to this thing, meaning just the top, multiplied together, I got 178 1/8. I've still got to divide by 2 because every triangle is divided by 2. Looking like I got A equals 89 1/16. Whew. Okay, yards squared. Is that what you all got? Did anybody work it with me? Good. I haven't done that one in some other classes. So triangle base times height divided by 2. Just grab your paper up there, guys, and it's on the board. Yes?
I got 2008. 81.600.
Okay, let's go back. Listen, 18 3/4. So 18, ABC 3, ABC 4, times 9 1/2, times 9, ABC 1, ABC 2. So just for the top, that's how I got the top of it. Can you listen? Like, don't just go with what I got. Please see if you can get that answer. Especially since it's 2 fractions you're multiplying. Like, if you type it in, can you get that? then when you divide by 2, it would give you that final answer. Yeah.
Is 178 and 1/8 your final answer, or is it 89 and 1/16?
Just listen. I just said it. Okay. That is just the top multiply, guys. That's just 18 3/4 times 9.5. Can y'all get that far? Did everybody get that far? Okay. So the last step is divide by 2. Like I just said, we still got to do this to get that final answer.
Yes.
Okay? You get a calculator on the test, but if you can't operate it, it's not going to help. Listen, if you're scared to ask me, talk to me. Either talk to me right now or come to me after class. You want to learn this fraction button. If you can't, you're going to want it. Not just this year, but in your future. Because it'll help you. So everybody okay on that one? Okay. The next one, or another one I'm going to do, I'm going to go do number 5. It is what shape? Trapezoid. Now, I'll admit there's not a lot of space. I'm probably just going to do it right here. Probably have to do that triangle somewhere else, but here I go. Now, because the trapezoid formula is a little bit longer. Okay, I'm going to try to do it. Yeah, I'll just do it here. Okay, the formula is base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. Now, my bases are my parallel lines, otherwise known as my railroad tracks, which are
14.3.
You got it. 14.3 and 18. Now, my height is 12. Here's my height. Okay. So, starting out, I'm going to add 14.3 plus 18. This is going to look weird the way I'm writing it. 32.3 times the 12. Yeah, 387.6 divided by 2. This just hasn't worked out the way I thought it would, but that's okay. 193.8 centimeters squared. And unfortunately, give me a second, I'll move everything over. Yeah, that just didn't work out well. In my last class, I've been doing that one, so. Can we get something different? Plus 18 equals times 12, 387.6, divide by 2. Go back and I got 193.8. Go back and check it. So, I don't know how to do this. I'm trying to make it where you can see all this. Yes, points matter. Like little decimals and all that. Okay. Didn't go real well, but that's okay. Now, going down to number 7. Got a graph. And we got to remember graph. And listen, 7th grade teachers are just going to expect you to know this next year. If you do not have this memorized, you need to memorize it. I should kind of be able to hand you one of these coordinate planes, one of these little graphy things, and say, here, graph this, and you'll be fine. Okay? So please, if you're not sure, take some notes. Here we go. You would first go across the X, because whatever you do first, you do it alphabetical order, X first, before the Y. Okay? Another trick to know. These are all the positives down here. These are the negatives Positives up because it has a 10 right there. Negatives down. Also remember, like when you're looking at an ordered pair, the first number is always the X. The second one's always the Y. Okay? So, like negative 10 and 6. When I go to graph that, I'm going to go across to negative 10 and then 6 up. And if you'll remember, babies crawl before they walk, before they stand up. So, negative 10, positive 6. If you're just copying my dots, it is not going to help you. Okay, 7 and 6. Going over positive 7 and then up 6. Positive 7, 10. Noticing that if they're both on a 7, they should be straight up and down the same line. Okay, and negative 10 and 10. Now, the first class of the day, I'll admit, I kind of stopped and thought, did I do that right? Because the word up here says parallelogram. But is this shape... But is that a parallelogram?
No.
Are opposite sides parallel?
Yes.
Yes. Listen, opposite sides are railroad tracks. It is a parallelogram. Now, I'll be honest. You got to slow down. It's not exactly a square. Okay, that's where the next part comes in. We've got to find the area of the shape. And knowing the formula, base times height, okay, think about it this way. If I go across from here to here, how far is that? 10, right. From here to here is 10. And then I went over this far to what number?
7.
So look back over there. How far over did I go? 7 before I went up. Okay, so both the greens are 17. Like if I add them together. Okay, the height, so think about this. How far is it from here? I'm trying. Of course, my pen's going to die now. There you go. From here to here. So how 10, we went down 10, and we went up how many? 6. So the height is 16. You can't really assume it's a triangle, a square, but, I got why you're saying it. Okay, so multiplying them together, 272, that's right, units squared. You got it. Listen, they graph, like you graph on these coordinate planes more and more and more. Geometry class, for sure, but your algebra, all your X's and Y stuff, this is the X-axis, this is the Y-axis. You graph, 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 all the time. Okay, here we go, number 8. Now, we're getting into the composite shapes, the weird ones, the ones that we may not, we got to split them, yes, into 2 shapes. So here we go. Or more, you could do more. Okay, yes, I would do this one as a triangle and a square. I would cut it right there. You don't have to, but, okay. So looking at this one. Let's see. Okay, I need a base and a height. What 2 numbers? 4 and 6. You got it. So, and yes, it's 24 meters squared. In fact, I usually do that so y'all know where it applies. Or use color. Okay. Now, the triangle. Okay. Okay, 2 is right. It's the height down here. And 4, that is right. You need that, which is that. Yes, move those walls around. The triangle formula is base times height divided by 2. So 4 times 2, but listen, make sure you divide by 2. You've got to divide, well, don't circle that. That's not your final answer. Listen, that is just the triangle. You've got to divide by 2 on triangles. That's why it's 4. So 4 is this. 24 is that. Do we add it or subtract it? Add it. So the final answer is 28 meters squared. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay. 10. I'll talk about 10. I got a feeling I'm not the only one. What 2 shapes?
Triangle.
I would do a triangle and a square again. Now, someone asked me in the last class, could they do a trapezoid? Yes. It is a trapezoid. We should all get the same answer. Okay, but if you do the whole square and triangle thing, starting out, let's look at this square part. Okay, we know this side is 6, but I need this side. Now slow down. I want you to look at something. 10 is from here to here. But how are you getting 6.5? Right. Listen, 3.5 is the same as this chunk. So you got to figure out basically 10 take away 3.5 is 6.5. Okay. You got to kind of move those walls around. Okay, so I'm starting out with just the square or whatever it is, rectangle. Make sure you put that point there. 6.5 times 6. Because you got to do, if this is 3.5 from here to here. Do you see that part? Okay. If I bring that line straight down, then just that part of it's 3.5. But what they're saying is it is 10 from here to here. So if you have 10 and you kind of like take off 3.5, like take it right, subtract it. How much is this part? 10. 10 was from here to here. Do you see why? I know I've drawn all over it, and that's not really helping. 1 second. Okay. Let me try this. Okay. It is... let me do it this way. You ready? I'm going to try color. Okay, 10. It is 10 from here to here. Do you agree? Okay. Now, it is how far from here to here? 3.5. So from here to here is 3.5. So we know from here to here, and of course my thing is not going to work, is 3.5. But it's kind of like, that side's 3.5. You know the whole thing's 10, but what would that be? So you would take 10 minus 3.5, to get the 6.5 on that side. It's weird. We got to be able to, I call it sliding the walls around and kind of subtracting, and that's hard. It's hard for some kids to see it. It takes a minute, I promise. It's not just you. 6.5 times 6. Okay, so I got 39 for just the box. Now I need the triangle part. Okay, so 3.5 is definitely one of them. There's my right angle. And where did 6 come from? No. Way over there, right? Yeah, it's the height. Because if this is 6, then that little dotted line is 6. I'm just bringing it over. So I know the height is 6. You're going to have, like, if the whole thing is a 10, then you would do, like, what plus 3.5 is 10? But since we don't know what, we would have to subtract to figure out the what. It's kind of weird. So what I do is this. Like, if you're not sure, let's say you think it's 13.5. Well, if you stuck a 13.5 right there, would 13.5 plus 3.5 be 10? No. So you just stop and go backwards and then try subtract. Okay? Now this one we get lucky. This is just a 6. So that's a 6. So that's a 6. That one we get to just copy it straight across. Okay? Now, the math of it is 3.5 times 6 divided by 2 which is, looks like 21 divided by 2. 10.5. I should have put meters squared on each of these. Okay, now my triangle is 10.5. So what do I do with that shape and that shape? Add them up. So 49.5, that's right. So 49.5 meters squared. Bless you, bless you. And that's kind of like my final. I'm turning that in as my answer. Someone asked me earlier, like, could they use notebook paper and trace the shape and do it on a different piece of paper? That's fine. Just bring that paper with you tomorrow. Okay. Anybody? Ariana, question? Okay. I wasn't sure. I just didn't know. Okay. I'm going to do one on the back of each. Here we go. On the back. This is the part where we talked about it like a picture frame. And we would talk about how we've got the outside shape, we've got the inside shape. It's kind of like we need to rip out the middle and throw it away. So what kind of math? Subtract. You got it. We're going to take this shape and we're going to take out that middle part. So, starting out, write that formula for the rectangle. 10 times 8, which is 80 millimeters squared. And that's the rectangle. Okay. Now I'm going to do this parallelogram. Which happens to have the same formula. 9 times 3. $27. Okay, and then slow down. Do you want to add these things or subtract? Subtract. You want to take your big 80, take away 27, Yeah, 53. Every class, like and listen, I am worried. I think a lot of people are doing that on their tests. They're like, I don't want to say guessing, but like you're trying, but on a test, you're getting them wrong. Please, if you got a calculator, use it. Okay. Subtracting out the middle. Now the one that's getting people, yes, is 14. If you will get with me, I'll help you. Actually, 13 has one other trick or two. I just want to show you something. Guys, this was on the test. This one. And when we took the test. But the problem is this. You all looked at this rectangle and you told me that the rectangle, like you knew to cut it right here. But you didn't choose the right numbers. The rectangle is what two numbers?
12 and 5.
Okay, I'm on 13. Okay, 5, because that is that, right? Those are all 5. And 20. 5 and 20. Does everybody agree? For the rectangle. And then the triangle is
5 and 8.
5 and 8 divided by 2. So the triangle, that line right there is the same as that. It's just like, the what? Right, because it's just that you're using that 5 twice, because you're using it for the base of the triangle and then the side of the rectangle. Okay, now the last one is this arrow one. I wish you would look, because I think most of you are fine. It's just this one part. Listen, we know we're going to cut it right here. But what you all kind of keep messing up on is this. How far is it from here to here? 10. Do you see how that is just 10? But here's the thing. That is not from here to here. The green line is 10. What is each little flap? 2.5. So you've got to add in this 2.5 plus the 10 plus the 2.5 in order to get the whole base of that triangle. So 2.5, 2.5, 10 times the height divided by 2. Okay, now, all classes today are pretty much getting back graded papers, and some of the groups I have been able to tell them their I-Now grades. It just kind of mattered about behavior and like if I got to do it before you walked out. All grades are in I-Now unless you've taken something today. I need you to know this. Okay. I'm going to give this group a little piece of paper, and it's going to have your average on it. But, and I've done this in most classes, but not all. I'll try to do the other ones tomorrow. I guess I'll just keep recording. But basically, here's the deal. All the grades are in that little grade. When I hand you the little piece of paper, that's why I'm giving it to you first. Okay? So the test from yesterday, if I got it, if you already took it, is in here. That way, when I give you back your test, you don't have to stress because it's already known what it did to your grade. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, these are not permanent grades because report cards aren't really finished till next Thursday. But we only have, like, the math workshop I got a grade, and then the 9 weeks test, and some homework grades. Okay? Yes?
What if we forgot our password for I-Now?
I-Now. This goes for all parents while I'm recording. Ha-ha. If you can't get into I-Now, your parent, as far as I've always been told, the parent has to contact the office, either through email or phone. And then what they'll do is, usually they'll give you like a letter, but it's like in an envelope sealed, and then you take it home to your parent. But basically, your parent has to call the front office, is what I understand about it. So, if I find out different, I'll let you know. But that's why I'm doing this, because some of your test grades, I'm gonna be honest, even though I'm recording still, are not so hot. But this way you know, before I give you your test grade, what your real grade is in my class. Yes, I'm trying to calm nerves before they happen. Okay. Finish that worksheet now and for homework. Thank you.